hold it up for you, and I'll let you introduce yourself and tell me what I'm looking at.
This is a World War II
Tell us who
pillow
you are.
slip
Tell us who you are first.
from my great uncle.
No, hold up. Tell us who you are. What's your name?
My name is Sheila.
Okay.
My mother's family had 5 children, and in World War II, the first 2 boys were drafted. About 2 years later, the youngest child was drafted, and my parents were hysterical, and my grandparents, and they wrote a letter to the President of the United States saying, please don't take my last child. About a month later, he was drafted. They got a letter from the president, unfortunately I don't have it, saying, we can't undraft him, but we will promise you that he will not go overseas. So he wound up in North Carolina, and the only words I remember, because he would have been about 110, 115 by this time, barrage balloons. That's the only words I remember. This is not barrage balloons. I don't know where this came from, but he was stationed down in North Carolina for several years, and thank God all 3 uncles came back safe.
I can't tell you what that means. Yeah. My grandfather was in the balloons in Alaska.
Really?
Yeah, he his station was North Alaska. I actually have a telegram from him. I found it in that same box I was telling you guys about earlier. I found my grandfather was a farmer, hardworking man. They didn't really, money wasn't really a part of their life. It was more trade where they lived. You trade chickens for rabbits and turnips. I mean, it was all trade. And I found when he was 18, a telegram to his sister, and it said, "Life is good in Alaska. Send money." And it was the only time I ever heard him ask for money, because he would never do that. But what I found out, men that did a lot of service time, they don't talk about it, is what I found. And so I found out about it at his funeral. And they were in the balloons, and they would, just like the politician famously said in a funny way 10 years ago, you could see Russia apparently from Alaska, and they would go up in the balloons, and they would look across in their binoculars, and then they'd come back down and report it. And that's what my grandfather did. But you would have, in North Carolina, you'd be near the coast, most likely. Was he out in the Outer Banks, or was he in, do you know where your grandfather was stationed?
No,
Okay, so a lot of those guys would have been stationed in Wilmington.
I don't remember any.
Well, I'm lucky enough to pick all this up secondhand. I'm not a very learned guy. I get to hear a lot of stories. But Wilmington was a big base, and what they would do is the boats, the continental shelf is so close to shore there. That's why all the fish is so good there. That's why they have tuna, believe it or not, there. They would go up in balloons. There was a lot of balloons there. And so my hunch is they were shooting balloons, is what that probably means. Because if he was artillery, that means they got to keep the promise. He never left the U.S.
Yeah.
But this man was artillery. I mean, this is an artillery flag, both by color and by design. This is really cool. This is the kind of thing I'd love to do more research on, because you can really, and it's funny, I've gotten really involved with like Ancestry.com, and I've gotten to talk to a lot of different museums. This is a really special, all these items are special, but to still have this is really, because this flew somewhere. I mean, it wasn't in the air, but this has been out for display for a long time. This is really nice. This is really, really nice.
And I was told not to clean it.
No. Oh my God, don't clean it. No.
There's some stains.
Yeah. Let's just say that's dye, but it's probably not. Yeah, never clean this. Don't put water near it. I mean, it should stay on, out on wood. And don't fold it when you're storing it. If you're going to store something like this, you want to roll it. You don't want to fold it. But this is absolutely, this is beautiful. This needs to be out. A lot of people, they're like, this is wonderful. I'm going to tell my family story. And then they store it away somewhere.
Right.
Man, get rid of your china. Nobody's coming to use your china anymore. And turn that china chest into a display case for your legacy list items where everybody can see it. And I didn't mean to offend anybody on the China topic, but that is a very difficult conversation in my field. That's the kind of thing that needs to be seen. Hey, thank you. Let's hear a round of applause for her.